Welcome to Talking Points. What I'm about to discuss should concern everybody, and if you're a parent, this will definitely concern you. TikTok, the most popular social app at the moment among kids, is recommending sexual and drug content to them. This app is viewed more times than YouTube according to new reports this month, and it has a deep tie with the Chinese government. The Wall Street Journal studied TikTok and revealed this shocking news. What they did was make accounts registered as users aged 13 to 15. They were controlled by bots and freely browsed TikTok contents. An analysis of the videos served to these accounts found that through TikTok's powerful algorithms, TikTok can quickly drive minors who are among the biggest users of the app into endless spools of content about sex and drugs. For example, the Wall Street Journal found TikTok served one account registered as a 13-year-old at least 569 videos about drug use and references to cocaine and meth addiction, as well as promotional videos for online sales of drug products. Hundreds of similar videos appeared to the feeds of other minor accounts that they had used for the study. One teenage account made by the journal were shown more than 100 videos from accounts recommending paid pornography and these sites and sex shops. Thousands of others were from creators who label their content as for adults only, which means it should only allow 18+ registered users to access them, no one else. This means this Chinese app may be using artificial intelligence and algorithms to purposefully recommend drug and sex to kids in that age group, 13 to 15. Think about that. Now, from my understanding of how it works on TikTok, when you watch a video, the AI automatically calculates your interest based on the video's content. If you come across a porn video on TikTok, it will show you more the next time. The more you click, the worse it gets. TikTok only needs one important piece of information to figure out what the user wants: the amount of time you linger over a piece of content. According to the Wall Street Journal, every second you hesitate or rewatch, the app tracks you. Also, when you search keywords like sex, drug, weed, etc., it gets tracked as well. So just think about, if a 13-year-old is watching drug videos all day, what will be their reactions or actions be? Do drugs, because everyone else on TikTok is doing it. Or with the sexual content, what will happen to our youth? Why is this a big problem? Well, because while the US TikTok of the version allows this, at the same time, the Chinese Communist Party is restricting access to these contents for the Chinese version. They've added measures to ban accounts that promote pornographic content on the Chinese version of TikTok called Douyin. Now, both TikTok and Douyin, the Chinese version, are owned by a company called ByteDance. And ByteDance has close ties with the Chinese government. So back to what I was saying. TikTok is allowed to show 13-year-olds or older porn and drugs, which means the Chinese government may be using this platform to poison kids in America. In 2019, reports surfaced about TikTok's algorithms recommending young girls to older users, and this was seen as a predatory problem. But think about how bad this case is. Showing 13-year-olds porn and drugs on a site that is not branded as a porn site or a drug site. They were just pushed by a robot's calculation. And behind the scenes too, you're not aware as a parent or even as an adult that these videos are being watched by kids. The CCP knows exactly what they're doing too. They're now playing a long game. They're trying to poison the next generation of American youth so that when they grow up, all they think about is porn, drugs, and liberal ideals. And while that is happening, China is buckling up to send their own kids into this war prep mode of restricting gaming to just 3 hours a week and for underage kids and restricting their celebrity chasing atmosphere. Pop culture is getting a whole new transformation. And access to pornographic content in China is strictly limited. And they're very much limited from exposures to drugs and drug use. Instead of those things, the Chinese kids will spend their free time learning Xi Jinping's thoughts. Now, I've said this before, I don't know which is worse. But it seems Chinese parents are happy that their kids are no longer indulging in useless content, let's call it that. But what about the American children? When this new generation is growing up, China's young adults will be full of communist hatred and brainwashing, while the Western young adults will also be brainwashed too. But filled with ideas of drugs, sex, and pop culture instead. So can you imagine this devastating situation we will be in, say, 10 or 20 years? Our generations of youth will grow up wasted and they'll grow up brainwashed by these intoxicating things. So while China is banning all the digital opiums, as they claim, like gaming, porn, or celebrities, they're exporting all of these things, these poisonous ideas, to America. They allow America to continue to immerse their youth into things that will turn out to be bad for their growth. So let's take this even bigger. What's the CCP planning to do from this point on? They have shown us with TikTok, they have the capability to start a full cyber warfare against the US, in particular against the youth. And it's happening. And they have big data capable of targeting the young. And they have predictive algorithms to track the personal browsing data of everybody, especially those that use TikTok. So it's very scary. And they may be purposefully using pornographic videos to influence younger audiences. This way, it's so much easier to brainwash them. And the long game that I spoke of is that the CCP is banking on the future of America failing at the hands of the next generations. The CCP is banking on the next generation of kids growing up liberal, radical, sensitive, and definitely intoxicated by these digital contents. And they're turning the youth of America into weapons against America tomorrow. And they're putting up sex culture, drug culture as the central principles of a child's education. In our second topic today, US News reports China wants to install troops in Bagram Air Base near Kabul, Afghanistan, and that's coming off the heels of the Taliban forming a new government, let's call it that, and the country as well, of course, calling the CCP their most important partner. The CCP returned the gratitude from the Taliban and sent the same back. And with that, the Taliban may be inviting the Chinese Belt and Road Initiative into Afghanistan. The Chinese military is pondering about sending workers, soldiers, and other staff for the Belt and Road Initiative into Afghanistan. It would ensure protection for the project, whatever that is, but more importantly, being able to access the region militarily in the near future. Their excuse is to occupy the former US airbase as, of course, for protection purposes, to protect Chinese workers working on the Belt and Road infrastructure project. And whether that is a road or a bridge or even a new airfield, we don't know yet. A spokesman for the Chinese Foreign Ministry on Tuesday issued a denial of plans for an imminent takeover. But that is like asking a thief if they will steal from the jewelry shop. They won't say yes. The CCP isn't doing this out of being nice to the Taliban. The goal of the Belt and Road Initiative is always about the country of China. It's not about the country it invades. In fact, the Belt and Road project employs mostly Chinese workers and Chinese nationals, and they don't actually create a financial change for the country that the project goes into. And actually, they do the opposite. The Belt and Road focuses on the victim's country by taking up a large amounts of loans from China, and the Chinese government comes in with workers from China, materials from China, and definitely money for the project from China. And when they're finished, the country that got the Belt and Road project gained nothing. Maybe just a new road or a bridge, which is still owned largely by China in most cases. On top of that, the Belt and Road Initiative comes with a great hidden clause, such as getting a good dose of Chinese troops into the country. And that is what Beijing wants, to have Chinese troops, even better if they can fly their fighter jets or tanks into the country. That would be a total regional instability for most people, but for China, that's a great way to extend their regional influence. An example of that is the People's Liberation Army, the official name of China's military. They've reportedly secured exclusive rights to roughly a third of the Ream naval base in Cambodia in recent years through an expansion. And in Myanmar, it has provided radio, radar, and other military equipment to the local junta on the Coco Islands. Beijing has claimed its presence there is not alarming and it doesn't amount to a military base, even though all the equipment, maintenance, and training basically takes place and originates from China. And so it has employed similar tactics in neighboring Pakistan, and it of course bolsters a new security and intelligence sharing agreement with Beijing, and that has also alarmed nearby nations like India. So it's a bad look for the US too, if you think about it. You just left, and the biggest adversary of the US, the CCP, comes in and decides